And we're here to welcome you to MCAT's 1992 Christmas celebration. We'll be coming live at you for about 3 hours, and we're going to be drinking and eating and welcoming people into the studio all day. We'll be showing you award-winning clips from a very productive year. Mary, tell us some of the things we've done down here this year.
Okay, well, first thing you ought to notice, this is your community television station, and we're down here to train you in how to use this equipment and go out and produce your own community programming. So we've had a great year. We've had lots and lots of people be trained on the equipment and go out and make lots and lots of great programming. And in fact, we've trained almost 1,100 people, community people, in the use of this equipment and this facility, which is really a phenomenal number nationally in the public access facilities, in the use of public access facilities. We're going to talk a lot about public access today, but we also want to think about this year a little bit. And as we think about this year, we think that we've done a lot of training. We've also won a few awards, which has been wonderful. We're going to talk about that some too. And we've also had a guest filmmaker come from Ohio, Julia Reichert, who's an award-winning filmmaker who came and gave us a production workshop with funding from the Montana Arts Council. And one of the things that we wanted to announce today is we did receive money from the Montana Coal Tax Trust to embark on an educational program in the high schools with the media artists in the school. So we've had a really great year. The format for today is that we're going to run some of the award-winning program, and we're also going to run some clips from some MCAT producers, a few minutes here, a few minutes there, and try and give you an idea of the kind of celebrating that Missoulians are doing on our cable channel 7 over the TCI system. Right?
And don't forget, the most important part of all, I come to you today as Hanukkah Harry, wishing all of our Jewish friends a happy Hanukkah, which starts today, our Christian friends a Merry Christmas, and if I knew exactly when Ramadan was, I'd continue from there. I think we should not forget lots of free pop, lots of free food. There'll be pizza down here later, lots of celebrations. We invite you to come down. If you have never seen the facility, shame on you. You can't get into a crowd in Missoula without rubbing elbows with people who have been down here making programming. So please come down, help us celebrate, and take a look at the facility. It's your facility, and we'll be down here for 3 hours, and if there's a big crowd at that time, who knows when we'll go home.
One of the things that we're celebrating today is we've had kind of an astounding success rate with the most recent Montana Film and Video Festival. We've had 4 producers win for 3 of their programs, and they took home 3 of the top, I believe it's 11 awards, which is really phenomenal because this is a regional award, or a regional festival that they hold. They have applicants from Canada, Alaska, Montana, Washington, Idaho, Oregon, North Dakota, South Dakota. So we really have a reason to be pleased about how well our producers as they're known, how well they've done. And we wanted to take this opportunity today to go on the air and show you those programs in their entirety and have you take a look and have you be the judge today of how these folks are doing and how their work is coming along. So we're going to take a few minutes now, I think, to look at a local clip first. And then after that, we'll come back for just a moment or two and talk a little bit about one of these award-winning shows.
We're going to see Sleigh Ride, about a 4-minute and 10-second clip by the Missoula Youth Symphony in concert on December 15th. This is done this year at Big Sky High School. It was directed by Don Beller. And to see the concert in its entirety, you should be aware that it's going to be cablecast here on MCAT December 22nd at 8:30 p.m. and then again on Wednesday, December 23rd at 3 p.m. Enjoy. These are talented young people. That's my favorite Hanukkah song. We used to use it all the time for eating potato latkes. And for those of you who want to see the concert in its entirety, and I recommend it to everyone, don't forget, please, that it's going to be cable cast in its entirety on Tuesday, December 22nd at 8:30 p.m. and on Wednesday, December 23rd at 3 p.m. These are talented young people, people our community ought to see and ought to be very proud of. And speaking about being very proud, one of our, actually two of our producers, Lori Hudak and Bruce Whitey, won the Merit Award in the non-commercial documentary category, an investigation of myths and realities, for their video, The Wolf, Real or Imagined. This is quite an unusual piece. It has gotten a lot of very interesting response, and although Lori Hudak is not available to come on camera, I would like to speak with Bruce Whitey and congratulate him for his remarkable work. Bruce.
Hey, Ron.
Bruce came down from
Hamilton.
down from Hamilton up today, so he could be with us, and we're going to need to talk about The Wolf, Real or Imagined. Tell me about the film.
Well, what this was is there's plenty of articles and documentaries out there about the wolf in like natural history of the wolf and the political issues. But what Lori and I decided to do is look at the stories, the folklore and myths that surround the wolf, and from that to see how that colors like the political arena. And you find that the wolf, more than any other animal, even more than the bear, carries a lot of baggage here in North America, especially and in Europe. For instance, we have teddy bears, but we don't have teddy wolves. Actually, they're starting to come into vogue now.
Teddy
you
wolves.
look at National Wildlife Federation catalog, and you see all kinds of wolf paraphernalia.
Cuddly wolves.
Cuddly wolves
Yeah.
now. They're in vogue. They're in. But, you look at the story of Little Red Riding Hood, and at the end of that one, she was ate by the wolf, and that's where it ended. Whereas
Didn't do Grandma any good, if I remember correctly, either.
And Goldilocks, though, basically that's the story of a pubescent vandal who breaks in and, terrorizes the bear's house. And when she leaves screaming, it's only because she thinks she's in trouble, and all that the bears are doing is kind of staring gap-jawed at her as she lays in the little bear's bed.
Mm.
So ask me something else really profound. So
I heard that you live with a wolf. Then that's obviously a mistake, right?
No, this is true. My wife, Pat Tucker, and I live
I
with
knew
the
that.
wolf. Leading question. Yeah, Kwani. She's an ambassador wolf. She's for education. Pat does programs at schools and organizations. Pat Tucker is a wildlife biologist, and my
Wildlife
wife.
Federation.
Mm-hmm. And the reason she is Pat Tucker and I'm Bruce Whitey is because I opted to keep my last name after we got married. Anyway,
work.
yeah.
Nice
So
work.
we live with a wolf. Back to the film, though.
Yes.
Lori and I are at work on a series. The wolf film will be the pilot program for a series called Animals of the Mind, and I wanted this to lead in because I wanted to show you what Lori gave me for Christmas. I just got it.
Wow.
The
What-
series.
The series.
And the next one that we're at work on right now
Listen to this, folks.
is Snakes Shedding the Skin of Original Sin.
Oh.
And we also hope to have owls in there with their tie into ancient forests, and spiders, another animal that carries a lot of baggage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I need to say a few things about this video because it has some special meaning for me as well. For those of you who don't know, I'm the full-time president of Missoula Community Access Television, and my other job is as a high school teacher, and I teach biology. And I've been teaching about the myths of wolves for years, but have never had a piece of videotape or anything to go along with it. And so when I saw this film aired for the first time, by the way, on PBS out of Spokane,
Right.
which was impressive to me, I immediately jumped on it and brought it to my classroom. and showed it to my juniors and seniors in a class on wildlife biology, and they loved it. As a matter of fact, it went over so well that I invited Pat Tucker to come to my classroom and talk about...
Instead of me.
the good-looking one, to talk about wolves, and she did some pretty remarkable work with them as well. So I would like to recommend that if you have not seen this film, that you do see it, and we're going to be running it today, of course, and my guess is we'll be running it from time to time. I'm sure it will be a cult favorite in Missoula. But I'd also like to appeal to those people who show videos to young people. This is a beautiful piece of work, and as a teacher, I'd like to tell you that you ought to take advantage of it. Contact Bruce Whitey for further information, I suppose.
Or contact MQTV, Montanans for Quality Television. It's featured in their catalog, and it does come with a study guide. We had a panel of 4 college professors and high school instructors brainstorm. I just had a message coming in there.
Yes.
Anyway, the study guide, yeah, these people helped put this together, and it's got some great exercises and questions. One of the things that we have in there, it's an exercise that I've had a lot of fun with at schools when I've gone and presented the film, is to pretend that we're making up a story. And so if you're a good writer, you do a character sketch on your characters. So in this story, we're going to have a wolf and a deer. And to kind of get to know them for the story, you know, I ask people, what is the car that these characters drive? What color do they like? And so invariably, the wolf drives, you know, a Jaguar,
yes,
or a Vet, or a Porsche. Yeah, Ron's keyed in, he knows. And the deer drives, you know, a Subaru or a Volkswagen.
Or a Volvo.
Or Volvo, yes. And in colors, wolf always likes red and black, power colors, and the deer's into, you know, beige and brown. And music, deer love classical music, and wolves like, you know, heavy metal, jazz. And so anyway,
Tchaikovsky, too.
we get to the end of all this, and what it illustrates to the students is how we, you know, stereotype these 2 animals and through this characterization. Betty was, the message I was getting was from Betty Ammon from the library, and she wanted me to tell you that Wolf Real or Imagine is at the public library, the Missoula Public Library.
If you're too cheap to buy it, right?
I didn't want to say that.
Right, well, that's what I thought.
But a lot of you are going to be getting money for Christmas, and I need to buy some more T-shirts, so if you'd go down.
Bruce, one thing, the surprise I haven't told you about is that the microphone hanging over our head contains mistletoe. Mwah! I love you for doing this.
I was hoping for a French kiss.
That's it, off camera. The Wolf, Real or Imagine by Laurie Hudak and Bruce Whitey. We're going to run it for you now. Thanks for coming by. We're going to have lots of pizza. We're going to spend some time together. And I want everyone in Missoula to enjoy this video. It's worthwhile.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too, Bruce.
You are alone in the wilderness. Soon it will be night.
Our impressions of the wolf come from stories we heard as children. Little Red Riding Hood, The Boy Who Cried Wolf, and The Three Little Pigs. The same stories that our parents heard when they were children. It's understandable that we continue to carry these storybook impressions of the wolf with us, but are they accurate? Or have we, through the years, created a story wolf to satisfy our changing needs? An imaginary animal that bears little resemblance to the real wolf.
I saw the wound on her throat. What animals are around here that can kill people? A wolf. Yes, a wolf. That's his cry. Come on, let's get him.
Since the dawn of man, wolves have affected our imagination and inspired a tremendous variety of stories. And yet no single view of the wolf is universal. A trait common to all humanity has been our attempt to make sense of the world by telling stories about the creatures and phenomena that surround us. As hunter-gatherers, we viewed the wolf more favorably than we later did as agriculturalists. During the Middle Ages, the farming people of Europe equated the wolf with demonic evil. Have our 20th century impressions of the wolf changed much? A look back in time will show how our imagination has transformed the wolf to suit our purposes. This will lead to a better understanding of our present attitudes towards the wolf and how those attitudes might change.
Long ago, before humans recorded history with written words, we passed information from one generation to the next in story form. As a storytelling animal, we shape myths and folklore not only for entertainment, but also to communicate our understanding of the world and to instruct members of our society how to conduct themselves. Though the medium has changed, the need to tell stories is still strong. The wolf stories of hunter-gatherer cultures concentrated on the similarities between wolf and man. Such qualities are displayed in those stories told by the native inhabitants of North America who, as recently as 3 generations ago, lived as hunter-gatherers. Their stories reflect our way of life before the advent of agriculture, more than 7,000 years ago. After we started to domesticate animals and grow crops, stories portrayed the wolf as an enemy. Later, the stories of Western religion characterized the wolf as a devil. Not until a few decades ago did scientific inquiry begin to reshape our vision of the wolf. Nevertheless, people still possess a confusing image of the wolf. Some stories depict a beast of wanton slaughter, while others present a noble demigod that maintains the balance of nature. Why has the human imagination molded the wolf into story forms that have little to do with the real animal?
Many people say that science has already addressed the real wolf, and it has, in part. Canis lupus, commonly known as the gray wolf, is the largest wild member of the Canidae, or dog family. The average wolf weighs a little more and stands a bit taller than a healthy German Shepherd. While wolves may go for extended periods without eating, on the average they require 5 to 12 pounds of meat per day. They feed primarily on ungulates such as deer, moose, caribou, elk, and bison. Small animals comprise a minor part of their diet, and some wolves learn to prey upon livestock. In order to conserve energy and avoid injury, wolves test their prey before they attempt to kill. If the prey is healthy and confident, wolves usually abandon the hunt immediately. Wolves have highly developed modes of communication, including howling, scent marking, and a wide variety of facial expressions and body postures. A wolf pack is a family unit of 4 to 12 wolves, that requires 50 to 1,000 square miles of territory, depending upon prey density. During a hunting trip, it's not unusual for wolves to travel 20 miles in a day. A pack consists of pups, offspring from previous years, and the alpha or breeding pair. One litter of 5 or 6 pups is born annually within a pack. Wolves reach full maturation in 2 years, and their normal lifespan is 12 years. The main cause of wolf mortality is man. Conversely, there is no documentation of a healthy wild wolf ever killing a human in North America.
Present-day subsistence hunters, such as the Eskimo, are amused by scientific attempts to define an animal by describing the species. Many Eskimos might point out that science can only tell part of the story, that wolves should also be viewed as individuals, each one unique in his own way and always changing, the same as people.
Anthropologists and animal behavioralists have confirmed that the pattern of social behavior among hunter-gatherers mirrors that of the wolf. Like wolves, most hunting societies are made up of nomadic groups led by a dominant individual and hunt prey larger than themselves. Both wolves and humans have devised sign language in order to remain silent during hunts. The responsibility of raising the young is shared by the group. When a group becomes too large, some of the members move on to new territory. The wolf is one of the few creatures to rival the human ability to adapt to a variety of environments. Such striking similarities explain why the Koyukon Indians of central Alaska consider it a compliment to be compared with the wolf. To them, the wolf is a master predator who possesses great intelligence, strength, acute senses, and most important of all, the ability to hunt as a cooperative unit. The Koyukon see no coincidence in their resemblance to the wolf. They tell a story that took place long ago, in the distant time.
In those days, the wolf people lived among and hunted with the Koyukon. Then the time came when we parted ways with the wolf people. But the wolves agreed to make kills for the Koyukon and to drive game our way. Even today, Koyukon hunters find wolf kills that have been left clean and unspoiled. And when a hunter stashes meat to be picked up later, he sets out chunks of fat so wolves won't disturb what the Koyukon people need for themselves.
Other indigenous peoples of North America, such as the Cheyenne, Sioux, and Pawnee, also respected the wolf. These Indian tribes felt they had to carry out two roles. One as a strong individual, and the other as a cooperative member of the tribe. Because wolves display both qualities, Indians named societies and performed rituals in honor of the wolf. Cheyenne wolf soldiers were a well-known warrior society. Assiniboine warriors charged into battle wearing white wolfskin capes smeared with red paint. The Macaw Indians of the Pacific Northwest coast perform an initiation ritual in which wolves play a primary role.
Long ago, when things were different from the way they are now, wolves kidnapped a young Macaw boy. The wolves tried to kill him, but they couldn't. The wolves didn't know what to make of this, so they befriended the boy. The wolves taught him how to persevere and be brave. They taught him all that they knew. When the young man returned to his tribe, he taught them the things he had learned from the wolves. This is how the Macaw became the bravest hunters of the woods.
Crow Indians tell the story of a conversation between a wolf and a dog. The story's main characters could just as easily have been a hunter and a farmer.
Long ago, a crow woman and her dog were digging roots. While she was digging, a wolf passed by. Her dog said to the wolf, "Go away. Go away. You only come around when you want what I have." The wolf said, "What would you have that I would want? You have nothing. You get beat all the time. Even the children kick you aside." And the dog said, "At least I can steal meat when I like. You sit, stinking under the armpits, picking dirt balls and burrs out of your tail, waiting for the people to butcher the buffalo so you can have what they leave." The angry wolf said, "Look who's talking. You with the camp garbage smeared all over your face. Do they ever let you have a good time?" The dog says, "I sleep warm. You have to sleep in the rain, in the cold. They scratch my ears. And you..." Just then the woman hit the dog on the head and she headed back to the camp. The dog followed, but he looked back over his shoulder and hollered at the wolf, "You're just full of envy." But the wolf turned the opposite direction and trotted away. He wanted no part of that life.
When we set aside the spear and picked up the hoe to become agriculturalists, our view of the world and wild animals changed dramatically. The stories that had propelled us to hunt didn't inspire us to tend wheat fields. Unless people remained rooted in one place, close to their crops, food would be scarce come winter. While hunters had once seen themselves as part of the animal kingdom, farmers saw themselves separated from and above it. People began to think of animals as either good or bad, based on whether or not they could domesticate them. Where the old stories had portrayed a wolf worthy of imitation, the new stories emphasized control over the wolf-like qualities within us.
To an agricultural people, the importance of control and planning is one of the lessons taught in the story of the Three Little Pigs. The first two little pigs, with their houses of straw and wood, represent those who fail to plan for tomorrow and secure themselves against the wildness of nature. They were destroyed by the wolf. But the third little pig, who planned ahead, planted crops, and took time to build with the most advanced materials, not only foiled the wolf, but also ate him.
During the Middle Ages, people became obsessed with an evil image of the wolf. Feudal lords were called wolves because of their rapacious greed. People wholeheartedly believed in the half-human, half-wolf creatures known as werewolves. Farming peasants not only called famine, but any threat to their livelihood, the wolf. Though fear of the wolf bordered on hysteria, in part, people based it on things they'd actually seen. During the Black Plague, a wolf standing atop a pile of bodies would have been a chilling sight. And when countries went to war, people saw wolves feeding on the bodies of dead or wounded men left on the battlefield to rot. We used the wolf as a scapegoat, and through it, expressed the frustrations we endured and the fear of the animal-like nature we were supposed to keep under control. Fairy tales and religious folklore from Europe characterized the wolf as a hound of the devil, or as Satan himself, lurking in the shadows, ready to pounce on the unwary. These stories also portrayed wolves and the wilderness they lived in as our own untamed natures that, unless controlled, would lead us to destruction and hell.
The story of Little Red Riding Hood exemplifies such a tale. In the original version, no one rescued Little Red Riding Hood after she climbed into bed with the wolf. He ate her, and there the tale ended. The story provided a sexual warning to adolescent girls. Control yourself and don't stray from the straight and narrow. But Little Red Riding Hood failed, for on her way to Grandma's house, she strayed from the path to pick flowers, and there in the forest, despite her mother's warning, she spoke to a stranger. The wolf. Harsh as it may seem, this momentary loss of control resulted in her destruction.
Stories of the wolf's demonic traits were so influential that during the Middle Ages, they were captured, tried as witches or sorcerers, and burned at the stake or hung. At the same time, people were burned at the stake in the belief that they were werewolves. An accusation whispered by an upset neighbor could send you to the fire, as could the choice to be a hermit or being born mentally retarded or epileptic. People lashed out at those things that were different and couldn't be controlled. Such practices were viewed as rational behavior by people who saw the wolf as an agent of the devil, or a reflection of the beast within others, but not themselves. People's negative attitude towards the wolf became part of a broader hostility aimed at the wilderness when they settled North America. Many took literally the passage from Genesis.
Fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over every living thing that moves upon the earth.
When the United States were still British colonies in 1756, the young statesman and future president, John Adams, wrote that when colonists first arrived,
The whole continent was one continued dismal wilderness, the haunt of wolves and bears and more savage men. Now the forests are removed, the land covered with fields of corn, orchards bending with fruit, and the magnificent habitations of rational and civilized people.
this new world view of the wilderness as a wasteland inspired the spirit of manifest destiny, which condoned irrational and uncivilized behavior. Native Americans were killed or caged on reservations where they were forbidden to practice their religion. Ranchers and pioneers also viewed the wolf with pathological hatred. Wolves were doused in kerosene and set on fire, or skinned alive, or caught and released to die after their mouths had been wired shut. During a 35-year period, at the turn of the century, in Montana alone, over 80,000 wolves were killed. When the United States Army sent troops to police Yellowstone, the world's first national park, soldiers were instructed to exterminate wolves. They did. Theodore Roosevelt, an early champion of the conservation movement, also advocated the extermination of wolves. During World War II, journalists referred to German submarines as Nazi wolf packs that prowled the North Atlantic. Hitler called his retreat in eastern Prussia the Wolf's Lair.
Throughout the world today, the wolf is still treated as a symbol of evil. We all know what's meant when a man in search of female company is called a wolf, or that someone is greedy as a wolf. We say that a corrupt person who tries to appear innocent is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
But there are also new stories being told of the wolf. Some of these stories fulfill the needs of people who no longer raise animals in an often hostile environment. They arise from a civilization that has grown increasingly dependent upon science and technology. The stories that come from science attempt to make sense of the natural world through the collection of information, such as a wolf's heart rate, the amount of calories a wolf needs to survive, and the average size of a litter. Information such as this has been extremely important. Scientific discoveries have made space exploration possible and provided cures to diseases. On the other hand, science has also created the tools with which we can destroy ourselves. An Eskimo might point out that scientific facts by themselves tell an incomplete and oftentimes confusing story. While our society depends on technologies such as cars, computers, and trash compactors, many people sense a danger in these creations. They long for a return to a simpler life.
A book like Farley Mowatt's Never Cry Wolf tells a story of wolves living in harmony with the natural world, killing only old and sick animals that no hunter would desire. In news stories like Mowatt's, the wolf fulfills a desire to believe in a golden race that is able, unlike our own industrial society, to live in peaceful accord with nature. While this portrayal does not reveal the real wolf, it shows once again how the way we view animals is molded to satisfy our changing needs.
Who's that I see walking in these woods? Why, it's Little Red Riding Hood. Hey there, Little Red Riding Hood. You sure are looking good. You're everything a big bad wolf could want. Listen to me. Little Red Riding Hood. I don't think little big girls should.
In the epilogue of his book, Of Wolves and Men, Barry Lopez wrote,
I do not think it possible to define completely the sort of animals men require in order to live. They are always changing and are different for different people.
The stories that come from our imagination will always mold animals to suit our purposes. And while we can learn much about ourselves from the animals we create in stories, perhaps the time has come to look at the real wolf. It is neither a beast of death and desolation, nor a hound of the devil. Nor is the wolf a noble demigod who maintains what has been romantically referred to as the balance of nature. Nor can the wolf be defined through charts, numbers, and graphs. Like humans, wolves cooperate with members of their group, sometimes kill more than they can eat, defend territory, and are known to kill their own kind. The real wolf, the creature that stalks the woods and not our minds, is neither a god nor a demon. Like us, the wolf is merely an animal. For too long, our stories have inspired a vision of the world in which humans stand dominant and above all other life. The survival of our species depends on news stories that portray humans as part of the creation that surrounds us. Our acceptance of wolves will be an indication of human wisdom, a wisdom that comes from accepting a less exalted view of ourselves and acknowledging the value of wildness. In wildness is the animal spirit that's allowed humans to adapt to an ever-changing world. Aldo Leopold, author of a Sand County Almanac, wrote,
We all strive for safety, prosperity, comfort, and long life. The deer strives with his supple legs. the cowman with trap and poison, the statesman with pen, the most of us with machines, votes, and dollars. A measure of success in this is all well enough, but too much safety seems to yield only danger in the long run. Perhaps this is behind Thoreau's dictum, "In wildness is the salvation of the world." Perhaps this is the hidden meaning in the howl of the wolf, long known among mountains, but seldom perceived among men.
Way to go, Bruce.
Okay.
Nice job.
Hey, there's something I forgot to say.
Oh, you're free to say. This is public access, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is your station, like Mary was saying earlier. And basically, you know, you've got about 3 ways to exercise your First Amendment rights around here. You can get on a soapbox out in the park. You can write a letter to the editor, or you can come on down here to MCAT. And I really encourage you to come down and do that. And you can, if you got something to say, you know, controversial, come down and say it. If you want to tell people what your organization is about, you can do that. And kind of the beauty of that is that you have this video to use afterwards. And so anyway, I'm totally distracted now.
You can do anything you want on public access television. You're so cute. I love you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. We're very lucky today because not only do we have some wonderful people down here to entertain us, but the piece is on its way, which is going to be even better than you know what. However, one of the great things that happens around Christmas time and Hanukkah time and the winter solstice is that people get out the old stories and they start telling them to us kids. And we have the story lady, Betty Ammon from the Missoula Public Library here with us today, and she's going to tell us a story. Betty?
I'm going to read you a story from a book called The Family Read Aloud, A Holiday Treasury. And you may even see me later because I have one Hanukkah story and one Christmas story. And this is the Hanukkah story for you, Ron.
Thank you.
And for my friend Jean, who tells me how to say all the words I cannot say. This one's called Potato Pancakes All Around. I think Ron already mentioned latkes as a Hanukkah tradition, right? It's by Marilyn Hirsch. On a cold winter afternoon, Samuel the peddler walked down the road to a village. He passed children sliding and sledding and skating. The children are out of school early, he said to himself, because tonight is the first night of Hanukkah. When Samuel reached the village, it was almost dark. He knocked at the door of a house. Mom opened the door and smiled at the peddler. "A guest is always welcome," she said. "Come in. We're just lighting the first candle." So they all sang the blessings together. The 2 grandmothers went to the stove. Aha, thought Samuel. Now they'll start making potato pancakes. "We'll use my recipe," Grandma Yetta said firmly. "No, mine is better," answered Grandma Sophie. "Who needs recipes?" asked Samuel the peddler. "I'll show you how to make potato pancakes from a crust of bread." Some say for potato pancakes a pickle, a fish, or a cabbage is good, Samuel continued, but I say a crust of bread. Ridiculous, said Grandma Yetta. That's crazy, said Grandma Sophie. We're hungry, cried the twins. So let's try the peddler's idea, said Mama. Samuel took a bowl from his sack. Who wants to hold it, he asked. We do, yelled the twins. Samuel carefully grated a crust of bread into the bowl. It looks delicious, he announced, but it needs a little water. The grandmothers wouldn't even look. The peddler tasted the batter. Some would say it needs salt. A little pepper, perhaps. Even I know it needs salt and pepper, said Papa. Well, if you insist, I wouldn't say no, answered the peddler, and he added salt and pepper. Samuel noticed a chicken looking in the window. I think this chicken is trying to tell us something. But what could a chicken say? I know, cried Rachel. The chicken is telling you to add eggs. I've heard of that, agreed the peddler, and he added 6 eggs. He takes advice from chickens, said Grandma Yetta. Do you have any suggestions? He asked her politely. May you grow like an onion with your head in the ground, she shouted. Ah, onions! A good idea, said Samuel. So David hurried to chop onions. Samuel smiled. Any minute now we'll have potato pancakes. But what about the potatoes? Asked Sarah. I grated all those potatoes by myself. It's not in my recipe, said Samuel, but it's a sin to waste food, so what can it hurt? I'll add your potatoes. And he did. What will you fry the potato pancakes in? Asked Grandma Yetta and Grandma Sophie at the same time. In a frying pan, answered Samuel, and he took one from his sack. Chicken fat is best, insisted Grandma Yetta. You may be right, said Samuel. Goose fat is better, declared Grandma Sophie. I wouldn't say no, Samuel replied. So Samuel took a big spoonful of chicken fat and a big spoonful of goose fat and began to fry the potato pancakes. Delicious smells filled the house. Samuel kept on frying. More and more potato pancakes piled up, and finally it was time to eat. So they ate and ate and ate potato pancakes all around. Even Grandma Yetta and Grandma Sophie agreed that the potato pancakes were the best ever. And they danced, and they sang, and they played games till very late. Grandma Yetta and Grandma Sophie gave the children pennies, and then everyone went to sleep. The next morning, the family begged Samuel to stay for the whole 8 days of Hanukkah. Thank you, said Samuel, but a peddler must move along. I know you'll have a happy Hanukkah now that you can make potato pancakes from a crust of bread. Happy Hanukkah, Ron.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd just like to recommend to everyone that chicken fat and goose fat is a little on the heavy side these days, and canola oil works just as well. And as a matter of fact, there's even some no-fat sour cream available to put on these wonderful things. I also suggest that after a big latke feast, that you wait a half hour before either dancing or swimming. But then anything is appropriate. So one of the really neat things about MCAT is that people in Missoula get to see a lot of their community that would ordinarily just pass by unnoticed. One of the great things that has happened is that we've been able to bring to the citizens of Missoula regular broadcasts of city council meetings, opening up government to the people of Missoula. And I'm told that starting in January, we'll begin seeing live coverage of the District 1 school board meetings. And the hope is that the high school district will follow suit very quickly thereafter. So there's a lot of things available on MCAT that might not be available otherwise. If you've enjoyed some of these, you ought to join with me in thanking the City Council and the Mayor for their support of this magnificent facility. And perhaps now is a good time to think about maybe calling your City Council person and letting them know how much you enjoy what's happening down here. And as soon as you get off the phone, I'd appreciate it if you come down here and help us eat some of our pizza and drink some of our pop and celebrate with us. Everybody is certainly invited to come down. One of the things that we're going to do today, in addition to showing you award-winning programs, is we're going to show you, or try to show you at least a cross-section of some of the diverse programs that go on here. The next clip that we're going to bring you is the 365 Days of Christmas. It's about 3.5 minutes long. It's produced by Bob Stangus for the Missoula Seventh-day Adventist Church, and it features students at the Mountain View Elementary School. Again, bringing youth to the forefront in Missoula, showing us how proud we can be of our children. This program, by the way, is going to be cable cast in its entirety on Tuesday, December 22nd at 4:30 p.m., and then again on Tuesday, December 29th at 3:30 p.m. So here are the kids from the Mountain View Elementary School. Enjoy.
You think you got troubles. My little sister keeps bugging me. When's Christmas gonna be here? When is Christmas gonna be here? Boy, that's all she's been thinking about for the last month, and it's driving me out of my gourd.
I heard that, you turkey. And don't pretend you don't look forward to Christmas every year. I saw you working the Sears catalog for Mom and Dad. You marked the 10-speed bike, first base condiment, a pair of rollerblades, and a Suzuki. Boy, you don't fool me one bit. You're just as excited about Christmas as I am.
Okay, get off my back. Sure, I look forward to Christmas, but not just for presents. I like Christmas for a deeper, more meaningful reason than just getting presents. I like it because Mom makes cookies and candy, and there's peanuts and popcorn balls sitting around the house, and the lights on the tree are twinkling, and the tinsel.
Oh, that's really deep.
Wow, wouldn't it be neat if we had Christmas every single day of the year? Bite your time, bite your time. If we did have Christmas every day of the year, for your selfish reasons, you'd soon get sick to your stomach, and you'd get tired of all the noise and excitement, and you'd soon come to hate Christmas.
Your Christmas, that is, but your idea is intriguing. What would it be like if we had Christmas 365 days every year?
Welcome back to MCAT's Christmas Party 1992. We're here in the MCAT studios downtown Missoula, and we're welcoming you back to a live show that we're having today in celebration of our great year that we've just experienced here at MCAT. And one of the things you just saw, as Ron mentioned, you're watching your own children, our own children in this community on this station, on this channel. And that's what MCAT has to offer here. MCAT has to offer live television. It has to offer the immediacy of our own stories being able to be told on our own television channel. And it's really valuable. You don't get that anywhere else. You really don't. If you've noticed what's happening in television these days and in the news, it's that we have more world images, more world news, and that's very important. But who we really are is defined by you and by me, and this is another way for us to express ourselves. It's like a paintbrush or a pen or a pencil or a computer, but what it is we have television cameras here, and we go on the air and we tell our stories to the rest of the world. So we'd like you to come down to MCAT sometime and tell your story to your own community and enjoy it, because we all really do so much. So that was the Mountain View Elementary School singing about the 365 Days of Christmas, and that will be cablecast again Tuesday, December 22nd at 4:30 and Tuesday, December 29th at 3:30 p.m. I want the cameras now to change a little bit and come and take a look at my great brand new sweatshirt that I just got myself, or this came from Santa, I should say, for Christmas. And this is the MCAT logo, which you probably have seen around town. You've probably seen it on our awning. We're downtown in the old Missoulian building. And this was designed by a really good graphic artist here, Roman Kutzker. And Roman's unable to be with us today because he's fallen ill, as many of us do around this time of year. And we did ask him to come down, and he wanted to come because he's one of our award-winning producers from the Montana Film and Video Festival. And he's made the switch because of MCAT. He was able to avail himself of some good quality video equipment, which he then put to use with Partners in Home Care. And Partners in Home Care is an organization that provides health services to people who in their homes as opposed to people in hospitals. And it's a pretty big organization here in Missoula. And Roman was able to do a non-commercial documentary piece about this organization that ran on MCAT and is now in use by this organization to explain to people what it is that they do and how they do it and what their approach is in working with people. He spent a lot of time on it, and he groaned a fair amount about it because he was learning about how to be a video producer. And while it does take some time to do, we help out as much as we can with that process. And the result is that Roman's done quite well, actually. You know, he's combined his visual capability with some technical capability now, and he's come up with a very nice piece. It runs just 10 minutes. We're going to take a look at it now, and then we'll be back in just a few minutes to talk to you some more.
I have emphysema and I need help to stay home.
I broke my shoulder over a year ago, and I do need help with my daily activities.
I need help in keeping my grandparents home.
My eyesight was failing, and I realized I needed help.
Partners in Home Care brings health care home. No matter what your age, Partners in Home Care helps people to live at home safely and comfortably.
Mrs. Englert, when you talked to me yesterday on the phone, you said that you needed some assistance for yourself and your husband. Could you elaborate on that for me?
Well, I can't see well enough to do very much house cleaning. Can't see the dirt. And he...
With information you give us, we can develop a plan of care to meet your specific needs.
What I have here is an assignment sheet, and I will go through it with you, and then we can determine what help you need.
Okay.
We'll start with your husband.
All right.
How is his vision?
Very poor.
Poor too?
Yes, he's legally blind.
Okay. And his hearing?
No, no hearing, period.
Does he wear a hearing aid?
No.
Okay, no hearing. Okay, Mrs. Engler, I think we can go on to what you need now.
All right.
What exactly do you want him to do in your home?
I wanted to clean the bathroom, the kitchen, vacuum, dust, No, it's good.
I believe I have someone in mind for you, Mrs. England. I think she could come out next Tuesday. What I need to do is check with the scheduler, and then I will get back to you probably tomorrow and let you know when you will meet her. Okay? Sounds good. I have a card here, too. It gives my name and the phone number where you can reach me.
Right.
Hi, I'm Catherine with Private Duty. Nice to meet you, too. I have a...
We help over 500 people in the area who have a wide variety of needs. Our services range from housekeeping, shopping, financial consulting, elder sitting, and bathing and grooming to meal preparation. We also offer a full range of medical services, including physical therapy and nursing. But more importantly, we help people maintain their health and independence. And that leaves quality time for our clients to relax with their families. No one wants to lose their independence through aging or illness. Often, family members are not always available or have limited time to help. We offer an alternative.
Mrs. Peterson, I'm Marlene, the nurse with Case Management Services.
Well, nice to know you, Marlene.
Hello, I'm Susan. I'm the social worker with Case Management Services.
Nice to know you, Sue.
Mrs. Peterson, for Marlene and I to know what services to contract for your brother, we'll need to understand what his needs are, his household management needs, for example.
Our case management team will work with you to develop a plan that will meet your personal and medical needs. The plan will allow you to stay at home despite physical disabilities or illness. Doris was concerned about her brother, Marshall, who can't get around the house like he used to. She came to Partners in Home Care to find him help.
Have help on his other medicine that he takes, and but I'm not worried too much about the insulin. He needs other help.
What about his meal preparation?
Well, he could use help on that.
For Doris, Partners in Home Care means rest. Alice, who works for Partners, gives Doris a break from the daily task of looking after her brother. For Marshall, Partners in Home Care means security. He knows his basic needs will be cared for on a daily basis. Like Marshall, you or a family member can live at home safely and comfortably. Sometimes there aren't enough hands around the house. Our private services program can help. These individuals are training to become caregivers. We carefully screen and advise each of our caregivers before they come into your home. Donna is a caregiver. That means she's an exercise partner, a housekeeper, a hairstylist, and a friend. Caregivers offer many services, from helping mothers with newborns to escorting the elderly to social events. Like all our caregivers, Donna responds to individual needs, providing companionship and fun. Not everyone has to stay in the hospital or nursing home when recovering from an illness. Our nursing program provides an option that allows you to stay at home.
Dr. Byak, this is Lisa with Partners in Home Care, and I'm taking care of Mrs. Avery.
How is Mrs. Avery?
She's having some shortness of breath today.
I see.
She's currently taking Lasix, 20 milligrams a day, and Lanoxin.
Staffed with professionals, our nursing services vary depending on our clients' needs, from diabetic care, blood drawing, and wound care, to tube feedings and IV therapy.
Are you with or without your pockets full?
Without.
Without? Okay.
A Partners in Home Care nurse, Katie, checks in on Bob weekly. She works closely with Bob's physician in helping him to recover at home. We also offer speech, physical, and occupational therapy. Your doctor and our therapists design a program specifically for your injury and help you to be a part of the healing process.
Today, Frida, I'd like to go over your home program of exercises that you do on your own when I'm not here. We'll kind of see if you're doing them the right way. And then from there, we'll make any changes that we need to, because you're probably stronger now. We can probably do some other exercises.
With the help of Partners in Home Care, you receive individualized medical care in the comfort of your home. Hospice is a philosophy based on the belief that it is physically, emotionally, and spiritually more satisfying for many terminally ill people to spend their last days at home. We can help, assisting with pain control and giving family members emotional support and rest from their responsibilities.
Hospice has been so good for us, though, hasn't it, Mom? It's really
It's been wonderful.
taken a real burden off of myself as a daughter, because I don't worry so much when I'm gone anymore. And I think Mother has felt better, too, with just the company that has come, because that's the thing she complains the most about. She gets so lonesome that her days are so long, and you can't be here all the time, you know. So when other people can come in, I feel so much better about that.
For me. And as long as I have hospice to come to me, then I can stay home. I don't have to be in a rest home. I don't have to be in the hospital. So with these people here, I can stay home, and home is better, you know, than my friends.
The final days of life can be more comfortable at home, surrounded by the love and support of family and friends. The hospice program at Partners in Home Care is there to help. Home, a familiar environment, offers a quality of life that you can find nowhere else. With our range of services, Partners in Home Care makes it possible for you or your family members to live at home, no matter what your needs may be. When you need help the most, Partners in Home Care is there, bringing health care home.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to show your appreciation. This is Ralph. No, Jingle Dog. Just to show you how appreciative some of our viewers are, this was a gift to Carrie Hinkle, one of our producers, from an anonymous and quite appreciative viewer. Wish I got presents like that, but there you are. Excuse me while Ralph has to go out. Well, the pizza has arrived, and it smells awful good to me. So I'm not going to be up here for a very long time before diving into the pizza. But I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you people down to please come and share some pizza and some good cheer with us. The last piece we saw was by Roman Kuchera, and as Mary said, he was the fellow who invented our wonderful logo. There's a little story behind that, and that is when we first gave Roman the chore of designing some logos for us to look at, the one thing I told him that he was absolutely not to do under threat of physical harm was design something with a cat in it, you know. And so we met at a local bistro, all of us who were working on MCAT, and Roman began shuffling one wonderful design out after another, and finally out came the MCAT. And I knew that I was immediately defeated. I gave up without a struggle, recognizing his talent immediately. And sure enough, MCAT has become quite a visible signal in Missoula. Speaking of which, I think everyone should know that we are embarking on the third generation of MCAT clothing. I'm sure that you've noticed Mary's wonderful sweatshirt. I know that you've seen mine with the wonderful MCAT logo, beautiful cotton blend, extra large for those of us who are portly. And if you will follow me, you will see that we have here piles and piles of shirts in all a myriad of colors. And we even have these wonderful long sleeve shirts which are going to have MCATs all up and down the sleeves. What more could anyone want? So there are short sleeve t-shirts, there are long sleeve t-shirts, there are sweatshirts, and soon to come embroidered hats. Let me tell you that they make wonderful, wonderful gifts, and they're going to be available to one and all at MCAT. The prices are better than reasonable. Call to reserve yours, or come on down and pick out your favorite color. I'm sure that you'll love them. I know we do. Yeah. This is non-commercial television. I just want you to know that. These are non-commercial sweatshirts. Again, I want to point out that one of the strongest suits of MCAT is that, in fact, we can put on the air things that you may not ordinarily get to see in the community. Running just before we started the festivities here was a production of The Requiem. It was produced last December by Tim Merrick, and what we're going to do is we're just going to run a short clip of that right now. It was cable cast earlier today and will be cable cast again in its entirety on December 22nd at 7:30 p.m. So here is The Requiem for those of you who missed it and would like a little taste of what's to come. The Requiem.
From the University Theater on the campus of the University of Montana at Missoula, the Department of Music and Missoula Community Access Television present a performance of Mozart's Requiem Mass, featuring the Montana University Choir, the Missoula Symphony Chorale, and the Mozart Festival Orchestra, conducted by Donald Carey. Our soloists are Betsy Host, soprano, Lisa Pyron, alto, Terry Anna Laura, tenor, and L. Collier Pierce, bass.